Hey everyone. This big hole's here because log trucks have been driving through a flooded road caused by the beavers. We got a foot of rain over the past 8 days or so. So we're going out checking all the popular locations that beavers like to clog. I think they have it clogged. I just think they don't have the water to work with. Foot of rain is a lot, but considering we went 3 months without rain, everything's absorbing it like a sponge. This doesn't seem too abnormally high, but I think we're gonna find something here. Those are pretty fresh log truck tracks. Here's the culvert. Amazingly, it's open and moving. There's a little bit of a blockage there. How bad though? Anything worth coming back actually for? Yeah, we could do that another day. It's not a priority though. I don't see any evidence that there's beavers right at this moment. But we're gonna check a few other locations. See, one of these pipes is probably 90% open. That one is 50% open, but it's still holding up something. There's a reason that a lot of my regular videos I make have been replaced with camping and travel, because there's literally nothing to do out here. I drove over 300 miles of dirt roads yesterday inspecting. Today we're on 118. We're gonna keep on going, inspecting these roads. Earlier tonight, I found one location that they took down my flagging. The issue is still there, so I put up like 3 times as many flags in that location. And that location will also get officially reported too, once I get back to civilization. It's an area where the culvert is so clogged and underneath debris, you can't even figure out where the mouth of it is. And if it ever backs up, it's gonna wash out that road because it's down a valley like 30 feet. The road is not meant to be a dam. Yeah, I can see how that hole in the road got so bad. You got these huge trucks driving through it all day long. They've been doing lots of logging operations here, and there's lots of logs that still have yet to be picked up. So just because they're in the area, I bet you that beaver is already relocated, because I didn't see anything fresh there. I think that's a dam from some point earlier in the year, and they just busted it open enough to drain it off the road. Yeah, there's a lot of logging going on right here. We will soon be to the tank culverts. They're further down this road. And we're gonna check a few other things in the area, and if there's no problem, which there probably isn't, we will not return to this area in the daylight. We'll give the area's roads a pass until the spring. Now this kind of thing will have a ripple effect into next year. A lot of times we find beaver dams and problems in these pipes during the spring thaw because their capacity is 100% needed. But because it's so dry this summer, beavers aren't building anything. And if there's no dams like this in pipes already existing, this spring thaw is gonna be light again, unless we get a lot of flooding that causes debris blockages rather than beaver dams. All right, everyone. This right here is where the road washed out years ago because of beavers. We're now at the tank culverts. We call them that because they're old fuel tanks where they cut the ends off, cleaned them, and now using them as culverts. This used to be a notorious spot for beavers, always clogging it, but they actually haven't been here in quite a few years, and I'm amazed by that because they live less than a mile upstream, and that's the next place we're gonna check. Huge floods this spring from them. Nope, that's just storm debris. Yep, there was a time this was all a huge pond way out into these woods This is where the angry beaver chased me because I went to track down their lodge so the trapper would know where it was. Alright, now we're about a mile, maybe not quite. I think it's a little less than a mile upstream, and it looks like they've taken care of it. So this was flooding over the road. I couldn't believe how bad this was. See how it's starting to sink right here? That's because the water was so high. Maybe there's still a blockage. This water's still kind of deep, but you can see how big the pond was. It was way up here, flooding the road down there. We took a few good shots at it, but we determined it wasn't safe. The blockage was too big, and if we got it free, I could have been seriously hurt. So they definitely got rid of some of it with heavy equipment. But what you see here remaining, I guess, is what they just didn't get, because simply they wanted to get it off the road, and they didn't come to make sure that they actually got it all. You see, we're walking through some water irises. So there's zero evidence that the beavers are still here. There's lots of fish. Yeah, that pipe's a lot bigger than it looks. There's still a blockage in about 30% of it. And I had this road very well marked. They took down my ribbons after they got that. But they're leaving the building blocks there for another beaver to come right here to make this worse again. See, those are my ribbons there, but I know I had even advanced warning ribbons around this corner. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:30. I pulled down this road to sleep. Last night we drove around till midnight doing culvert inspections, and we will be returning as soon as the sun fully comes up to those ones we identified last night to unclog them. It got colder than I thought it would last night. Got down to about the freezing mark. But that was cold enough that I had to start the truck at 3 in the morning, and now it's 6:30 in the morning. We're just heating up. I'm gonna watch the sun come up, shut the lights back off. We'll probably start up at about 8. It's gonna take a while for the sun to fully come up. Look how bright that one star is. Can you see that over there? I can see it. I don't know if you can. There it is. Is that a planet? It might be a planet. It's been there all night. It's not an airplane. Bit of ice on the road. Wow, look how pretty the sky's getting right now. Beautiful looking. onto the main artery. Sky looks really, really nice. I still think it's a little bit too dark to be going in that pipe. Soon, though. Alright, we're pulling over really far, and our location's right there at that dip in the road. Alright, everyone. It is 7:15 in the morning. Got the rake out, got the big high boots, and a couple lights for inside the culvert. I'm not gonna just keep sitting around. Even sitting in the truck with the heat on is not getting my body moving. So I gotta start doing something. I'm freezing right now. There's some ice in the road. But if I get moving, I'll warm up faster. Once I start raking in here, that'll heat me up real fast. I don't like doing these bigger jobs like this at night. If it's something small, like a couple of sticks, I'll grab it so I don't have to return in the morning. But not much going on this week out here. Lots of driving every day. Driven over 500 miles in the past 2 days on these logging roads, and there's really no problems. The beavers haven't built really anything. This blockage here, they built that over a year ago, and they removed what they did over the summertime. Without much rain this year, beavers haven't built anything. Looks like the water's definitely warmer than the air. That's why we got some steam. So this, about a mile downstream, are those tank culverts. Now, do I want to enter from this side or maybe the other side? Let's look at this again. I think I can get in from this side pretty easily. Now I need to watch it. Oh, there it is. So, last night driving around, I felt myself being itchy. Then, overnight, while I was sleeping, I felt myself being itchy. It is this plant. These were stuck to my back, ripping them off me all night. These spike balls. They don't really hurt, they're just irritating and itchy. Okay. Last night, this is where we had some fish. Before the logging company got rid of, like, the top 2/4 of the dam or so, water was up here to the top of this pipe. But it was flooding further down the road. That's by design. They want the road to flood not over the pipe so it doesn't wash out the pipe. This is one really high quality culvert put together with hot rivets. It may have been an old fuel tank, but I don't see any definite evidence of that. So we got our magnetic tripod today. Oh, that's actually a good angle. Looks like first time today is the charm. And no, we don't want colored lights. Yeah, that helps a bit. Having one lamp. Okay, let's see if we can get this 100% open. That'll help out a lot with the spring thaw and make it less appealing to beavers when a new family of them eventually comes here, because that's inevitable. I don't know how easy this is going to be because there's not much water pressure. Get on out of here. think you guys can probably see why I don't like touching culverts that don't have good flow. There's really no flow to help me out here. Everything that got hung up right there will get pushed out the next storm. But this lack of pressure is making this extremely difficult. At least I've warmed up. I'm no longer cold. I'm actually about to take the jacket off. It's getting sweaty in here now. Someone's hunting very close. I'm trying to loosen it up at least enough where the next storm will take this out, because I don't really want to flag it again. That wasn't very loud. Was that a 22? Yep, we got it out of that little hanger. Just trying to rig this where it will wash out and at the next big blast or the spring thaw. Now that we're almost into November, I don't think the beavers are going to attempt to build this into a pond. Not this year. We just need to situate this where it's going to wash out. We need to make sure none of this dam is gripping anymore. That's what I'm making sure of right now. Making sure this whole thing's ready to go. The next big storm. When we started, it was about a third of it left. Now I'd say we're down to about 10%. So we're doing good. Okay. I guess I am tired. I forgot to connect the big high boot to the belt. It doesn't matter now because we're just about done. We made a good improvement here though. Let me shut my lights off. Wow, this diving lamp is almost hot enough to burn me. It feels good in the hand. It's a cold morning. So, here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. We did make a major improvement, and I made sure it's not hung up on any of the sides of that culvert. And as I was in there, there is actual evidence of that was a fuel tank at one point. One side of it has a cap with riveted reinforcements around it, and the direct opposite side looks like it has some sort of drain plug. Before we get out of here, this is kind of interesting to point out. You see that over here? That is not a beaver lodge. That's the beaver's pantry. They'll jam a whole bunch of sticks into the mud deep underwater, so when the water freezes over with ice, they leave their lodge, go over to the pantry, grab a stick, bring it back up in the lodge, chew off all the bark, When they're done with it, they throw the stick back out. And that's why when a beaver pond defrosts, you see so many random sticks floating around. But that's also a huge material supply house too, if they want to reclog that when a new family moves in there. Look how nice the sky looks, those lines. The sky's really, really nice looking this morning. I'm not even up on a logging site yet, but this whole area smells like fresh sawdust. You can tell they're out here already this morning cutting. You can smell it in the air. Somewhere they're logging. And that's not just piles of logs sitting somewhere. It smells really, really good out here. I want to show you the scenery here. Look how beautiful this clearing is with the mountains. I'm looking for a good shot at it again. I had a good shot. I have best backup, I guess. It's getting worse as I go. I can't see out the back window and I can barely see out the mirrors. Alright, here we go. Look at that amazing view. Awesome. I love seeing the view out here. Oh my gosh, the sky is so beautiful. The sky is so beautiful. Look at those lines. Fresh sawdust in the morning. Oh. Where is the machine? Oh, there it is. There he is. There's multiple of them. Are we gonna see him cut that tree down? Let's watch for a minute. Put it in neutral. I want to see him knock one down. This is a tree farm, by the way. See how small these logs are? It's for your paper products, toilet paper, chipboard, anything like that. It's no different than a cornfield. They replant it when they're done. Oh, I think he's gonna take this one down. I guess he's just cutting up things that are already on the ground. I don't think we're gonna actually see one come down. Let's go see what the other guy's up to. I can hear there's another one. Hey, look at that, there's a beautiful river in there. Whoever surveyed that, I say you did a bad job there. You should know better. So, creeks and rivers, you're not supposed to log within 75 feet. That doesn't look like 75 feet to me there. And some of the lakes, that limit can be up to a couple hundred feet. But that being said, if it is something that they planted 40 years ago before the law, they're allowed to harvest it and let something non-monoculture grow back. Alright, I just turned around because I needed to look at a culvert that I inspect every year. No issues this year, not enough rain. But this morning we're going to a location that is only 10 minutes away. It's that plastic one. I want to completely unclog that one also before winter. But we got to go an hour loop instead of going 10 minutes because that road is a one-way right now because they're logging it. See how wide this road is? No problem. Some of those back roads, when they're logging it, it's one way for log trucks. You don't want to be going the opposite way and meet up with a log truck around a corner because it will absolutely be your fault. Yes, the driver should be going slow enough to stop for something around the corner, No, these are private roads. You shouldn't be going the wrong way. These trees are really beautiful right here. This is what's left of the aspen foliage. Aspen usually turns bright yellow weeks after maple trees. I think it's really nice looking. This section of the road is absolutely beautiful. Look at this foliage. Everything you're seeing here is aspen. I didn't even realize aspens could have orange shading along with the yellow. And it's beautiful. Not a single maple tree right here. The maples were weeks ago. This is aspen, not birch. Some people will confuse them because aspen will have lighter bark, but it's not. Really beautiful part of the road. I've actually never seen aspen be orange. Just about every tree here, as far as the eye can see, was planted by the logging company. It is a tree farm. Take a look out the side. Watch as I drive. It's going to be very apparent to you that this is a tree farm. This is a great example. See that? They're planted in perfect rows. Sometimes with the terrain it's hard to see it, but this is a great example. Look as I drive. Look at those straight rows, just like a cornfield. Makes it very easy to go in there and harvest. Tree farm. You wouldn't believe how many comments I've had recently saying how evil I am for helping a logging company deforest. This was deforested hundreds of years ago, originally by the King of England. Any tree that is over a certain diameter is mine for the mast of my ships. There's nothing left. This is all replanted every time they log it. It's no different than any farm. Just about every farm in America used to be woods, unless it's in the desert. Most farms these days are actually in the Southwest desert because they get so much sunshine, they can grow year-round. Most farms here have actually grown back in, so there's actually more trees these days than there was 100 years ago, just not old growth. I don't know why people think these trees that are being cut down here in Maine are old growth. They are not. I don't support old growth getting cut down anymore these days so that some rich person can have a dining room table that's one solid slab. I think it's ridiculous that they still cut down those trees when there's 1% left in the country. This right here is nothing special. Alright, this took almost 2 hours, and I can see all the marks the heavy log trucks have been taking this all morning. So that's why you don't want to go the wrong way down the one way. So this is only about 5 minutes in. I really don't want to go almost 2 hours around this loop again after we're done. That's why you get a CB radio and you figure out where the trucks are so that you can drive up it the wrong way. Just looking behind me, how straight this is. It's just slightly in here, this location. See how slight it is. I believe it's around the next corner. I'm pretty sure I can just radio in instead of doing this whole loop again. I guess it is actually 5 minutes in. Remember, I came in here last winter. This was so bad, I had to winch myself out because this wasn't being logged at the time. This was a couple feet of snow. I think that's a hunter right there. He's got his portable 12-volt chest freezer on the tailgate. Ready to harvest some meat and put it in there. Alright, here we are to the location. Now, where do you suggest I park? I want to make sure there's enough space for a heavy truck to get by. I think I'm going to park where I usually park. I think I can pull over enough right up here beyond it. I'm going to go up a little more, make sure these trucks can get by me. Oh, perfect. There's a road right here. I can just park right here. Nice. See, this road originally was 2 lanes. Now it's just a trail kept open by campers and hunters. Imagine how bad it would be to clean this off yourself if you had to walk through this for some reason. There's thousands of those spiky balls. That plant does that because, say, a deer or something walks through there, it's going to get stuck all over it. And as the deer continues to walk miles and miles off into the woods, it's going to be scraping against trees to get those things off containing seeds. That's how that plant spreads its seeds. It sticks it to creatures going by. I hear something. It's not a log truck. It's very quiet. I think a car is coming. But we're going to set up. Definitely a car. Alright, I'm all geared up. I want to use camera 2 on this one because this will be a bit more dramatic. And because it doesn't look like beavers have been here all year, it looks like the logging company broke it enough just to get it to stop crossing the road. Because this road isn't permanent. It is a nice detour. Like, we're only 10 minutes actually away from those tank culverts, but I'm not going to drive this the wrong way while they're actively working. I can tell by the mud and stuff here that log trucks have been going through this morning, not last night. And we will request to go the wrong direction because it's only going to take a couple minutes to get out of here. I've done that before. And that person driving by was the guy with the cooler on the back. Or it's like a little refrigerator. And he's also behind me again, coming back once again. So yeah, we can drain this water back at least another foot. This water's still elevated to the point that would cause frost issues here in the winter time. But we'll get it down quite a bit. How are we doing? Good, how are you? Have a good day. So, we'll get these open 100%. Let's go set up camera number 2. I love driving through the mud. You can't read either of my license plates. They're just so covered. Can't look out my side views. I'm covered in mud. That's what happens when you drive out here in the muddy weather. But I'd prefer it any day over dust. I came down here because I just want to get a before and after of below the pipes. Because this will start flowing more temporarily. And it'll actually probably take a lot of these leaves with it. Alright everyone, camera number 2 is going. That's primary flow, secondary flow. Secondary flow just means during times of low flow, it shouldn't be running at all. You don't want the pipes to be exactly the same height because during low flow, you want all the flow in one of them because a little bit of flow spread into 2 pipes means that you are more likely to clog without that current. So this, I believe, is very gassy mud, which means we're going to release lots of bubbles. Yep, there we go, with all the bubbles. So let's get to it. We put you guys out here so you can get a good view of the pipes. Alright, let's start with this one. Come imagining the beaver dam's probably kind of rotten because they haven't been maintaining it this year. And I still forgot to put these on. It's okay, it's not that deep. This smells like a stink bomb here. I better fix myself. Alright, let's see how easy it comes out because it hasn't been maintained all summer by the beavers. It should push out pretty easily. Yeah, wow, it just let go. I see excavator damage that wasn't there last year either. All right, let's try to get the other one flowing, then we'll touch this one up. Oh, it's gonna push out all at once. Woo. There it goes. It stopped. Let's just build pressure. Oh, it's moving again. Here it comes. Halfway through. Let it build more pressure. It stopped again. It's moving again. It's moving faster, faster. Here it comes out the other end. Kaboom! Nice. All right, we got this one down to the bottom. We just sent a big clump through. Completely open. Let's get this one a little better. This one's also completely open, but we can get a little bit of the debris out of the entrance. Make it a little better. We'll stand on the other side. I gotta show you this awesome undertow in a minute. You don't dig in the pipe, you dig at the end. That's how you get underneath everything that's still sticking into it. I'm gonna go in by hand. That's why I can't get it. It's over here off to the side. That's why I was kind of digging that. "100% open. If beavers do return to the area, they'll have it clogged up overnight. They're not very big pipes." Wow, that camera is really stuck in the mud. Okay, we have got them fully open. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. The pond is not super big. It's gonna drain pretty fast. So let's see what it's doing downstream. Oh, this mud. Those take the breath out of you. Now that we're gonna get the water table down, hopefully that disappears. But that puddle has to be filled. I was saying before the undertow, look at that big streak of mud coming in. Doesn't that look cool? It looks a lot better in person. It's coming from the drainage ditch of all the trucks driving by. See how murky it looks like coffee over in that corner of the pond, and it's getting drawn over here. But here's the other side. Oh wow, we almost lost camera number 2. The tripod actually shifted. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. I need to jump on down there very fast, because that looks like camera number 2 is about to take a tumble. Way more water than I expected is coming out of here. Usually we unclog these and they're completely underwater. This was a big surprise, and the water would have knocked this tripod down if it wasn't wedged by accident. I didn't even wedge it. And look at the amount of sticks built against it. It's a miracle it didn't fall over. And look at all those sticks right there, creating a plunge pool. That's okay. As long as the exit of the pipes aren't underwater where it can freeze and stop them from operating during a spring thaw. Here's what the pipes looked like before. And here's what they look like now. Pretty good difference. So, I'm very curious about this one stick right here. It looks fresh. Is that proof? That could be proof that beavers have recently been around. That one stick right there is pretty fresh looking. They may have just given up on this because of the drought. It's been raining all week. We've got close to a foot of rain, but still, most of our popular locations have no beavers. They're dried up. That's what happens when it doesn't rain for 3 months in an area that's supposed to be getting rain multiple times a week. But at least it wasn't hot this year. Most of the trees only have roots 2 or 3 feet deep. So if it was hot with the drought, that would have caused a multitude of issues like it did back in 2020. The drought wasn't as bad back then, but it was like 20 degrees above average for the summer. One thing that I don't like about the colder weather. I do love the colder weather because even if it's 0 degrees, negative 18 Celsius, it's still, I'm gonna be sweating doing these. So I prefer it to be really cold. Wow, this creek bed really is flooding a lot. This is gonna be a dramatic before and after. Just take a look at it. Flowing a lot. I probably chose like the worst place to get the before and after. Here's what it looked like before. And here's what it looks like now. Yeah, it's just moving so fast that it didn't really widen at all. Is this another hunter? Is this one of the loggers? I don't even know if he sees me. I'm all in camouflage except for the hat. Anyways, this is flowing a lot better than it was before. But I was gonna say, when it's cold out, you see how I put my tripod in the water? It'll freeze where you can't even open it or collapse it. And that water stays in there for months before it evaporates out of the tubes. And all it takes is you even take it out of the heated truck. Once it's out here in the cold weather, 5 minutes, you can't collapse it again. Okay, we have one more road we're gonna check, but I'm gonna divide this into another video because it's been kind of long. Good thing that guy went slow because I actually left my stuff up here and it's not covered in mud. Good. Yeah, the park rangers told me there's a couple of roads where the beavers have been a menace the past couple months, and they've been wondering where I've been. So I want to check it out and see if there's anything we can do there before we head out. But this has been the worst year for clog hunting ever. Just so dry, beavers don't build anything. When it's dry, floods don't occur. No debris blockages, no debris flows. Very little water. I'm surprised to see so much water at this location. Most of ours are the streams supplying them are dried up. And yesterday I even filmed a beaver swamp where the beaver desperately with this week's rain built a dam, built a lodge, but the pond's only 2 feet deep. The problem with that is ice up here can get 3 or 4 feet thick. That pond's not going to help that beaver out this year. I'm not sure if the beaver realizes that or not. The beaver will probably excavate it deeper as it starts freezing deeper because they do dig canals. But I was showing how it built its own little pantry because beavers have a pantry like I showed earlier in this video. And if it freezes down, beaver's gonna have no pantry. Cold weather does not affect the beaver. They don't hibernate. They'll swim underneath the ice. But if they have to leave their pond for any reason, that's when they're open to predators. Okay, so it is 9:25 in the morning. And a log truck is on its way. But the mile marker they're at on the main road, even if they're speeding, they shouldn't be here for at least another 20 minutes. So we're gonna quickly get out of here. Woo! Ho, ho, ho! Boom! All right, everyone, now that it's later in the day, it's actually starting to feel warmer out. I think a log truck would be able to get by me, but we're not going to be here for long. Just doing inspections on areas that are known for problems. We unclogged this one back in the spring thaw. It was an amazing one. It's the one with that weird hose going through it. These were completely plugged They're currently not completely plugged. See how slow the water's going in that one? It's sunk down the end of it because it's cheap plastic. It bends. But when we unleashed this water back in the spring, a giant iceberg slid out of it. That was fun. So that hose right there, I don't think it has to do with maple production. There's not really many maple trees here. In some areas, that's what that would be. I think somebody has a camp or something down there, and that's how they get water pressure in their cabin. They probably built a little dam somewhere high up in the woods on the hill, and it's just basically a siphon. If you put it up like 100 feet, it serves the same purpose as a water tower it does in the city. Water pressure. I actually really love driving roads like this. This road is very soupy. It's been like this for miles, and going forward, it is still soupy. It's pretty slippery. I'm still not in four-wheel drive, but you just gotta watch it, especially around corners. This road's still very wet, but it hasn't rained in almost 24 hours. It's not letting anything drain. Alright, a little bit better here. Now we get worse again. It rained all week and it created all these potholes. There's no more rain in the forecast, so the drought is still going to go on. It definitely helped, but we're still going to be in some sort of drought. Maybe the drought monitor will drop from extreme to moderate. So I'm on the road the park rangers told me about, and I was at first like, what are they talking about? I'm 90% through the road and I don't see any beaver issues. I found it. Turned around. Let's see, we got to figure out if it's actually beavers, because I personally don't think it's beavers. It's a drainage ditch, and beavers rarely will try to make a pond out of a little ditch like this. And there's no chewed trees, no floating beaver debris. I'm willing to bet, especially whoever surveyed it. We're going to add blue ribbons to that, but I bet it's a crushed plastic pipe, piece of junk. Let's see. I see water flowing right here, but that's just crossing and coming through the ditch. See how it's dirty? That's a dead giveaway. So, where's the pipe? The fact that I can't find the pipe is also concerning. But I guarantee you beavers aren't the ones responsible for this, wherever the pipe might be. I also think this ribbon, whoever marked it, didn't put in the right spot, because I don't see a pipe. I don't see a pipe here. I'm willing to bet it's a collapsed plastic piece of garbage. Why do they keep using plastic? It gets frost heave. When you have water levels this high, the ground freezes, ice expands, crushes the pipe. Metal pipe can deflect that in most cases. Hold the phone. Wait a minute. Okay, I didn't see that at first. That's why we poke around and investigate. Alright, I had to just shut my truck off. This hump in the road, where they marked it, there's no culvert there. It's probably down here. When you've done this for years and have unclogged probably thousands of pipes, you learn a thing or two about the beavers. Now we're seeing more beaver debris floating around. There's no pipe down there. At least not one that's functioned for years. It's right here. And it is properly marked. Okay. Yeah, we got a good one there. This is something we can do. Let's figure out if it's a plastic one or not. It is plastic. No problem. I don't see anything that would hold up a big amount of water, so I can easily put camera number 2 over there somewhere. I don't know where these beavers live, but it looks like they're creating a pantry, which means until these beavers are relocated, this is going to continue to be a disaster. See that pantry there? That's their food source for the winter time, so they can swim underwater and have a lot of sticks without coming out with predators when it's frozen. I don't know where the lodge is, but this is going to continue being a problem. I'm going to unclog it. I'm going to put this in a separate video because this has gone on too long right now. It's moving again! It's moving faster, faster! Here it comes out the other end! Kaboom!